Welcome everyone to session 0 here. I'm calling this series 10 Towns, obviously based on the 10 Towns in Icewind Dale. But before we get started, I'm going to ask anyone, has anyone here played Rime of the Frostmaiden before? I don't think anyone has, but I thought I should ask before we get started.
Nope.
Nope.
Not like a disqualification or anything, but I'd like to know if anyone may have seen any of the stuff we're going to be talking about, and I would change things up here and there. Is there anyone not familiar with Icewind Dale and the 10 Towns? Not reading any of the books or anything like that?
I have a very, very limited knowledge. I tried reading the Drist books, and I got like 20 pages into one. It started introducing the 10 towns, and then I gave up because I didn't really like the book.
Oh, that's cool. Just to give me some idea about how much I should describe when we get into the certain, like to the areas if no one's heard of what the 10 towns are, I'll talk about what those are and stuff in detail. And each of the 10 towns are very unique, and you can go to each one in this campaign if you'd like and spend time in all of them, or you can skip the ones that you don't like. But there are actually 10 unique towns that you can spend time in. Also, the campaign is marked for characters 1 through 11. So we're going to start at level 1, and then after today, we are going to move to level 2 because level 1 is extra lethal in D&D anyway, but in this campaign in particular, the longer I keep you guys at level 1, the less you can do. So at the end of tonight, you guys can level up to level 2. We're going to be doing progression leveling, so no worrying about tracking experience or anything like that. I'll just tell you, hey, you're now level 3 or whatever. But all the way up to level 11 or level 12. And the way the module is broken out is the first half is going to be pretty much open world. Tonight's session is just going to get you guys to the place. It's going to get you in the area because this is so remote. I felt like it kind of needed that. The module doesn't include that. So this is my own stuff that I've ripped off from other places to get you guys there. But then once you get into one of the towns, there's all sorts of stuff you can do, but it's open world. You can go really do whatever you want. And then the second half really becomes more rally-ish, and as like the story gets brought more to the front and all that. But just go down my list. Is everyone cool with this being recorded? I know everyone has gamed with me before except you, Tyler. What I do is I record the session and throw it on a channel that I have on YouTube. For no reason like to make money or anything like that. I just think it's fun to have it there, and sometimes it's a good reference for me to go back to if I forget something that happened. I've used the recordings before to remember, like, what did Shizno say to that one guard before he stabbed him, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Also,
I'm good with it.
little house rules here and there, like I don't do critical failures, so you don't have to worry about stumbling and killing yourself. I don't do that. I give everyone one inspiration to start with. Inspiration follows the rules. You can spend it for advantage or you can give it to someone else for an advantage, and you can have as many inspiration as you can build. I give inspiration usually based on good playing or just randomly at will if you're funny. I don't know. Depends on, really, there's no process. It's kind of at will. You guys are also free to change your character class before level 3. Like if you get in and you're like, this doesn't work in the group, you can do that. I don't have a problem with that. Just once we get to level 3, I'd like all character classes to be locked down. But races can't change. So after we start tonight, if you want your elf to become a halfling, well, we'll have to use magic or something involved because it just gets a little strange at that point. If all of a sudden your Warforged is a halfling, that kind of makes the previous discussions that they would have had a little strange. Multi-classing is fine. Totally cool with that. Just let me know if you move into something that's really different. Like in the example in the notes, I said if you're a paladin and you multi-class into a druid, that's pretty cool. So let me know. Or just, raise your hand. I don't have a problem with it, but I want to make sure I can start bringing in druidy stuff to your paladin to, have to talk about that because that's kind of a shift. I do tend to use passive perception a lot because I don't want you guys just rolling dice all the time. But if you have something you want to specifically look for, let me know, and then we'll do a roll. And bear with me tonight. I will have to write down everybody's passive perception because I don't want to open sheets every time. Also, good thing to talk about are monster tactics. So I gave everyone a little bit of a spoiler about this discussion, but What I like to do is make the monsters that you guys are going to encounter smart if they're smart and dumb if they're dumb. And what I mean is I'll look at their intelligence score to determine how smart they should be. And what you'll see a smart monster to do, or a smart NPC will do, is they won't just throw themselves at the tankiest looking characters. They will actually use strategy and like go after the caster first, or create an illusion in front of you so you think they're there and they sneak up behind you and try to destroy your carefully laid plans. But along with that, stupid creatures that have like a low intelligence score will do just that. They'll just run at you and throw themselves at you. The idea being that there should be a change in the way all of these things behave. They should make the world they should, as members of the world, make a little more sense. And like all of the stats have intelligence scores for them, so I'm gonna use that to dictate kind of how they behave. And expect the difficulty to ramp up as I realize how you guys play together and how your strategy is. Like we have a lot of tanky characters here, so you might start seeing more casters. That's something I'll try to do, introduce to up the difficulty or lower the difficulty, depending on the encounter. Also, the game calls for resource tracking because this area in the far north is very desolate. It's frozen. There's not much there. And it describes, the book describes this area as like the environment as much as an enemy as any NPCs you'll encounter. So what we're going to do, we won't do that in this session, but we'll start tracking food and exhaustion levels. And exhaustion levels can be pretty rough. So I will try to give you guys as much notice as I can about like you need to take a long rest because you'll start getting exhausted. And then we're going to track food with counters in Roll20. So like if you guys are making a journey from one of the 10 towns out into the cold somewhere, and I'll say, hey, you think it might take so many days, or I may not even tell you it'll take so many days if you fail the roll. You could get out there trying to get to this location and then you run out of food and you'll have to figure that out. That's a part of the game here. But we won't go into too much detail about tracking like weight or anything like that, but everyone's going to start off with cold weather gear because if you don't have it, it is such a severe penalty that's pretty rough. So everyone, you all have your North Face jackets. You're fine to start with at least. Yeah. The next thing is this is a deadly campaign. Characters can die. Like it is, as I said before, an open world. So you can walk into a dragon's lair and try to fight them at level 1. Well, in our case, level 2, if you want to. That will not be good for you to do that, but you are certainly able to. And I will try to throw out as many warnings as I can for you guys. But if you want to try it, we can try it. It just will. The odds would not be in your favor in many of these encounters if you go in them too early. And as far as character death goes, if a character dies, I will present the options that we can to try to bring them back. Mostly it's going to be through like resurrection, which is not going to be readily available here because there aren't too many spellcasters in the 10 towns. This is kind of a place that, people tend to travel to or run away to. There's not a lot of resources. So if your character dies, they're probably dead. And the easiest thing to do would just to be to bring a new one in. There's lots of places for them to start from or come into that we could bring them into the campaign. If you have a character who dies, I won't start you off at level 1. You'd start at the level that everyone else is, so you wouldn't be at a huge disadvantage. I think as far as like the last rule to talk about is I haven't GM'd 5th edition in a while. I've been doing Star Trek for the last few years, so I might have to look up rules from time to time. So if you guys know a rule that offhand that I'm looking up or I'm struggling with, feel free to let me know. I don't take any offense to that at all. It's fine if you know something. Otherwise, I will probably try to look it up, and if that's taking too much time, I'll just roll on the spot and then look it up later. Like I might decide that all Warforged have half hit points, because that would make sense.
Nunny.
Yeah,
So harsh.
So after I've been babbling for a long time, let's talk about characters. Does anybody want to talk about their character or discuss anything they're working on they're not sure of?
Oh, my guy's good to go.
So Shizno, why don't you
I-
tell us a little bit about your guy?
In terms of like what people would know generally, or like in character knowledge.
Well, let's maybe start out. This is something we're going to have to decide before we get started, is how you guys are all together and why you're going to the 10 towns to begin with. It can be a loose association, but you guys all have to want to be going to the 10 towns because this location is so remote. Once you get out there, it takes you a long time and it's hard to get back out. So you have to kind of want to be here because once you're here for a while. So I think all of your characters would have some sort of motivation to be going here. This wouldn't just be like a weekend trip.
I've been toying around with an idea from a movie I saw once, The Big Lebowski. And this isn't a meme idea. It's just that he has to do a little pilgrimage to deliver some ashes at an end location. What that end location is, I haven't figured out yet. But part of it is he has to go through this region, find different relatives of the family member, and collect tribute. And then once that's done, he can go to the site where he can release the ashes. Hopefully not into wind and gets it all over himself.
And he's a warforged, right?
Yes. His armor is covered in, despite the cold, it's covered in moss and little flowers grow in every now and then. He's
Now I looked it up. There are
mostly-
warforged in Faerun, but they're not common. Like they're not a race. So I think is his name Guardian?
Yep.
Guardian
That's
will
what
probably
the-
get a few looks here and there as he goes around. I think most people will probably assume that he's just a big piece of armor or someone who's wearing too much armor.
Yeah, he the armor itself, like he is a barbarian class, but the armor itself offers like it's more ceremonial. It's not actually durable anymore. um, pieces of missing of it. He is fairly tall, and yeah, he just carries around his big old moss-covered, vine-entwined maul, and he really likes animals.
Your background says he's a folk hero.
Yeah, that's the village that he's taking the ashes from. There, he helped save them against a pack of wild animals. He didn't kill the animals; he just diverted them and did what he could to save both sides.
That's cool. Is that something that would be known outside of that area?
I'd say the fact that he's been there for a while, that's probably helped spread. Like this giant thing comes out of this forest and helps keep the village safe. They've probably haven't experienced any bandits activity or any highwaymen for a while. Just like to imagine like highwaymen are behind a rock trying to jump someone, and then he's just behind them looking at them.
Or maybe he's
Just-
the rock they're hiding behind.
Yeah, he just wakes up like, "What are you doing?" He's a gentle giant. And actually, for future for UGM, I do plan on multi-classing the druid with him.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So next on the list, I see Rorgar. Am I saying that right?
Yes. I hope I can change the accent after level 3 because I'm probably going to lose it and find it a lot. But Rorgar is a dragonborn paladin. I haven't decided what oath he's going to take, but he is a servant of Bahamut. He grew up in Neverwinter. His family had left, what was it, Timanther, which is where a lot of Dragonborn are from in Faerun. And he's going up north to get away from his parents. His parents came to Neverwinter as poor, working class people, but they've worked their way up in society, and they wouldn't let him leave and go on adventures. He's wanted to do that his entire life. So his way of getting out of their reach is to go north to the 10 towns, because that is a very difficult place to go to.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll get him away from mom and dad for sure.
And he's going to try to find great evil to smite in the name of Bahamut. And Torm, but mostly Bahamut.
I see he's got pretty high skill in intimidation. Has he used that before?
I think he always does, whether he knows it or not, because he's a Dragonborn. But he's actually not as I don't plan on making him like the lawful stupid paladin. I would say he's probably used it multiple times. Like he's to get up to 10 towns, you wouldn't be able to travel alone. So he's probably worked his way into different convoys, and he's probably intimidated some crews into accepting him into their group.
Just taking a look at him. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I see he has a gaming set of cards.
Yeah, I just took that because the soldier background gave it to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I wrote down what his holy symbol is. I didn't even include that in the items. Uh-oh. Can't leave home without that. But his holy symbol is a large claw on a chain that he wears around his neck. He usually has it tucked into his clothing, but he will produce it when he needs to.
What's his alignment?
Lawful good.
All right. Lawful good. Love it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but we'll see.
I love it. I was just thinking about your character from the Mask campaign, how this is like the polar, complete opposite of that guy.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
That's very true.
So, Nick, talk to us about Laja.
So I'm going to be playing Laya, who is a dwarf white cleric of Lathander. And basically, the reason that I'm giving for them to be so far north is that they are currently trying to travel around, share their faith, and find enlightenment. And currently, all signs have pointed to them to go north for an unknown reason. And you can decide that and mess with me as much as you want about it.
I have so many good reasons.
Beautiful. I'm excited to see them, and also I'm very scared. But yeah, I am just gonna have fun with it.
A question about Laja. Did they go to law school?
Okay,
Laja.
thanks guys. This was a good game. I'm gonna take away your pun permissions.
No. No, I think they look great, and that survival skill is going to be very useful. Oh, you're also lawful good. You guys are so good. Nice.
You're ruining all of my surprises. No, I'm kidding. I don't care if anybody knows that. I have a goody two shoes.
All right, Taylor, I think that leaves you. First of all, welcome again to the group, and you're playing Virion.
Yeah. A wood elf, a northern kind of wood elf. He's a noble. He's the heir to his tribe. It's a small kind of tribe up in the north. He wants to go to the 10 towns. I'm thinking because it's been an exceptionally harsh year for hunting for everybody. So he needs to make some money to make sure his people don't die, sort of thing.
Very cool.
But he's also kind of a jackass. where he's reminiscent of a lot of like powerful people's sons and daughters who kind of say the wrong thing at the wrong time, but his tribe is still super important to him.
Very cool.
And I'm still kind of working some of the kinks out. So if anyone has ideas or anything, let me know.
Sorry, I keep all my good ideas for myself.
That's fair.
There's no sharing in this group.
Did,
All secrets.
Good.
Tyler, did you say what class you're playing? Are you a ranger?
Yeah, I'm going with Ranger for this guy. And I haven't decided on what path he's going to take, but like I said in the chat, I was leaning towards the Swarmkeeper one.
That's really cool.
Ice bees.
I mean,
Yeah,
since
I was trying to find a way to use penguins, but that's not that fearful, I don't think.
hey, I would allow penguins. I was about to say, since Shizno said sharks, I mean, a swarm of sharks could work.
Fish, narwhals, something jumping up through the ice. I'm into that.
There you go. Yeah, I think everybody looks great. Does anybody need help picking a token? I see tokens for everybody.
I'm actually just going to send you one right now with an actual border. There you go.
Cool. I'm going to drag these on and make sure they look good here.
Yeah, I think I have 2 sheets in there, so just ignore the one that doesn't have a picture.
I'm actually going to delete that one because I think Roll20 is having a hard time with it.
I don't know why it did that. Twice when I logged into this, it just immediately generated the sheet.
Hell, you know Roll20.
I think it's because Roygar's sheet might not be limited to just yours, because when I clicked into it, it also brought up the sheet for me.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Everyone can edit it. I'm cool with that. Just don't surprise me too much.
And I had to reload Roll20 when it loads again. We will do some secret cards.
How do I get a link to that token?
All right, so I'm going to deal out a card to each one of you guys, and I don't think anyone else can see it, but it's up to you if you want to make that publicly to the group when you get the secret. And some of them are not so serious, and some of them are very serious. And if I give you a card and you really, really hate it, or it's going to really disrupt some plan you had for your character, let me know and I'll give you another one. The idea is that they are fun secrets that these all came from the module, so they would have a tie directly into it. But yeah, like I said, if they're terrible, just let me know. Does anyone have a card that they hate?
That's an interesting thing to have happen for my character.
If it doesn't make sense, I can give you another.
No, I have an idea.
That is not. I I
I'll
like
just
mine.
I'll just say like he wasn't aware of what he was doing, or maybe the individual was so taken aback by what was witnessed. um, that's hilarious.
Why
That's
don't
real
I
funny.
take the cards back, and then I will. There's actually an entry in the appendix or in the notes, and I'll make it available to you guys. The individual, like who drew the card, so you won't actually have the cards anymore, but you'll have it in your journal.
I love mine.
Yeah, I like mine too. I
Mine's-
think it's hilarious.
Mine is straight up
into
just
it.
a magic item.
Mine's going to be interesting, and passive perception and perception checks will need to be a thing.
Uh oh. You're a warforged vampire. I get it.
Oh, fuck.
I use divine sense.
Oh.
So Brad, it should ask you if you want me to be able to steal your card.
Yeah, it says let it go or no way. So say let it go.
Yeah, I just want to see it so
Okay.
I can save it for you.
Let it go.
Oh, that's a really good one for you, Brad. That's perfect.
I'm not sure how many times I can use it a few times, but I'm not sure when I'll use it because it takes an action to use it. But it's still really cool. Actually, it might come in handy early.
All right, Nick, I'm going to steal your card.
I'm
Oh.
adding it to my sheet, so if anyone looks at my sheet, they will probably see this.
That is also a very good one, Nick. I think that's gonna work well.
I'll take it.
All right, Shizno, you are next.
Oh, mine's hilarious.
Yeah, okay. We'll work that one out somehow.
I have an idea.
Although I gotta say, if I had to pick one for you, I probably would have picked that one.
I got an idea. I'll toss your way after session for how
Sure.
that all works.
All right, Tyler, I'm gonna steal your card.
All right.
Oh, that is a very good one. Are you cool with that one?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, these worked out better than I thought they would. Okay, so if you look in your journal under, it's called Appendix B, Character Secrets, you should see your card and just your card in there.
Oh, mine is.
We're gonna have fun with these.
Yeah, I look forward to these.
That's so good. All right, well, I think we're good to get started, unless there's anything anyone else wanted to talk about with their character or with the play or anything like that at all.
If we're all like already meet up, I think I'll just say that you guys met my guy being swindled and trying to be taken use of by like some con man or something like that.
Where we're going to begin is you guys moving to the 10 towns already, and I think there's some places to learn more about your characters in this first session too. It's going to be pretty short. I think if we guys rush through it, we could get done very quickly. To set the scene, for your own reasons, you've all engaged the services of the dwarf Maynard Bronzecup as a guide to lead you through the spine of the world mountains to Bryn Shander, the largest city in the 10 towns. Well, the days have been long stretches following the 10 Trail, which is the main trail through the mountains, as it meanders north. Your guide, Maynard, has spent most of the journey seated on the supply wagon, urging the oxes up as the air begins to get colder. And apart from the occasional wolf howl, the trail is very quiet and mostly deserted. It's only after days in the mountains that the concern on Maynard's face begins to show. You've all noticed the temperature getting colder, but that was to be expected. What is a surprise is that the further north you go, the shorter the days seem to get. The night seems to stretch further than you've ever seen, blacking out the stars and stealing whatever light the moon has to offer. And even the sunrise offers little respite. From your best measure, it seems as though there's only a few hours of daylight before the darkness returns. A storm has quickly moved in on this latest morning of your travel. The cold wind bites at your face, and snow continues to slow your progress. You catch a glimpse of a tree that you've seen before, and it quickly becomes obvious that you are all very lost. The road and any landmarks that might be used to guide you on your path have been covered in a blanket of white. And suddenly, with a crash, Maynard's wagon comes to a halt. One of the wagon wheels is stuck in ice. This is an obstacle that Maynard has avoided before, but was unable to in these conditions. With a curse, he examines the wheel and sends you all off to look for a branch or limb or something to use as leverage to get the wheel free. And as you make your way away from the path, this is all of you, you hear a low rumble that gradually gets louder and louder. And then, all at once, you see it. It's a wall of snow and ice racing down the mountain towards you, an avalanche. You try to run, but you lose your footing as the ground shakes and your vision blurs in a fog of white. When you pull yourself out of the snow, you look around and the landscape has changed. An avalanche has wiped out the trail, your path, leaving no trace of the way out of the mountains. Worse still, there is no sign of either Maynard, the oxes, or your wagon of supplies. And that is where we will begin. As I said before, you guys were on what's called the Tin Trail, which is the trail that's basically the only trail through the mountains that most people use to get to Tin Towns.
Okay. I want to do a nature check to see how the snow could have potentially moved our guide, where he might have ended up through the slanting the slopes and the trajectory of the snow.
Why don't you give me a nature check?
A mighty one.
Oh, that's a very good one.
Let me go disable it doing both rolls.
It's fairly obvious what probably happened here, Guardian. This was an avalanche, and it didn't sweep him off the mountain. It's most likely he's under... basically, you can remember what the trail looked like before the avalanche, and now it looks like this entire trail is filled with snow. Probably 30 or 50 feet of extra snow have been added into this small valley that you were in. So very likely he's under 30 to 50 feet of snow.
Ooh. Do we hear any screaming for help?
It's deathly quiet.
Somebody already edited my sheet.
I'm gonna try and dig around for him.
Yeah, Rorgar will let out a roar. Rah! Maynard, where have you gone? Oh, I don't want to do Batman. God damn it. I'll figure it out. Never mind. But he says that.
And Guardian, as you start digging through the snow, you can hear Rorgar. And Rorgar, as you say that, you hear your voice echo very loudly, very far. It echoes several, like maybe 3 or 4 times. You hear your cry continue on and on.
I look at the mountains just for a brief second and then continue digging.
I'll assist him. Are we able to at least guess where Maynard's location was?
Most of the landmarks have been wiped out. You could get a general area, if you'd like. it's a pretty wild guess, and it's also assuming that he was not moved at all by the snow, that it just sort of dropped him where he was.
Right. I will just follow. I'll follow my friend's lead and hope for the best.
Can I do some kind of a check to see if there's gonna be like another avalanche or something that's gonna come and wipe us out? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you give me a survival check?
all right.
In this area, if this happened before, it can probably happen already. And considering the amount of snow that's been falling, this is probably something you should expect in this area. And with that roll that you just made, you realize that Rorgar shouting is probably not a great idea.
You see Rorgar about to shout again.
Rorgard, wait like
Ah.
2 minutes, maybe.
He'll give you a bit of a side eye, but then nod. and
Thank you.
Continue digging.
Laja, why don't you give me a perception check?
Sure.
Man, look at you guys. These are all those bad Star Trek rolls. They're coming back. It's another great
Yeah.
D&D rolls.
Yeah, now they're good for us.
You hear something behind you. It sounds like a little scratch.
I'll turn around and see how far is it away?
Right next to you.
Okay. Is it underneath the snow or anything?
Well, you spin around and you're looking for it and you're expecting something and you don't see, and then you look down next to your feet and there's a tiny white rabbit that obviously the scratching you heard was him moving towards you. And he looks up to you and in very clear comment he says, "Oh Mike, I'm sorry. Was that your friend?"
Where did you see where he went?
"Oh yes, I saw the snow coming down from the mountain. I'm afraid he's probably gone."
Gone as in away from here or gone as in under all the snow?
"Well, unless he had some way to escape it, which I don't think he did, he's probably gone as in under all the snow. And you all look like very capable." The rabbit looks at the rest of you. "You all look very capable to me, but that was a lot of snow."
From our experience with Maynard on the way up the trail, do we get any sense that he had any sort of ability to get himself free?
No, he was kind of a
Or-
crotchety old dwarf who his abilities were mostly just navigating this trail. And in fact, that's kind of what he made his life's work, is just a guide, moving people back and forth who wanted to go to 10 towns. He had all the supplies like the food and the camping gear and all of that for you. But he didn't seem remarkable in any other way other than that.
I'll stop digging. I will pull my holy symbol out from under my clothing and say a small prayer to Torm and Bahamut to see him through to the next stage of life, and I will move over towards this bunny. Is it difficult to move through the snow?
It is. The snow is not, in addition to the massive amount of snow that came off the mountain, there was a lot of snow falling and continuing to fall. So when you're walking, you're doing that kind of thing where you have to lift your leg up really high to make steps. Like the snow at this point is actually far deeper, but it's packed in, beneath your feet. But still walking, you probably have all of you snow up to your knees, except for you, Laja, which it's probably
I have so
past
much
your
snow.
waist. Yeah, you're so much shorter.
Could you lead us to where we're looking to go to? Or are we on? Could you get us around this snow at least so we can get back onto the path?
Oh, of course. Where are you headed?
I've already forgotten the name of the town, honestly, Josh.
It's all right. I don't think we said it yet. I think you guys are going to Bryn Shander.
Bryn Shander.
Okay. I will tell the rabbit that we're going to Bryn Shander.
Oh yes, I know the way there. We should go to see Mother Tusk first. And he looks off to the distance, and as you catch his gaze, you see where he's looking. He's looking to the west, where the sky is just totally black. And he's saying, storm's coming in very quickly. I think we should get shelter, if that's all right.
I think that's probably a good idea.
this Mother Tusk that you speak of. I don't like that voice either. This Mother Tusk that you speak of, Rabbit. Who is Mother Tusk?
Oh, sorry. How rude of me. My name's Muskie.
Muskie, I am Rorgar.
Well, Rorgar, Mother Tusk, she takes care of us. She'll know what to do.
Is Mother Tusk also a rabbit? It just doesn't seem like a very rabbity kind of name. I don't know who you hang out with.
No, she is not a rabbit like myself.
Okay.
But don't worry, you will be safe there. There's no dangers. Mother Tusk is good at protecting us.
Rorgar has never come across a talking rabbit before, so I think I'll trust you.
Again, I'm very sorry about your friend. It's very unfortunate.
That's okay. We'd much rather get out of the inevitable storm that's coming, I think, and go party with a bunch of animals in the woods.
Did we lose any of our equipment, or was it all just in our backpacks?
I think the equipment you guys have on
us?
your sheets, you have all of that.
Okay.
The extra gear, which would have been, like tents and extra food and, stuff to make a nice camp, all of that's gone. And I should also mention, after the avalanche, it's really hard to find the trail at all anymore. Muskie is leading you in a direction, but you have no idea if that's the direction that you were headed to begin with, or if it's somewhere else entirely.
I'll trust that Bahamut would put me on the path that I'm supposed to travel.
Can I make a survival check to see our direction?
You certainly may. From what you can tell, the problem with what the current environment is, there's virtually no sunlight, and you can't really discern where the sun is. And at night, the clouds and everything have covered up the stars, so you've had a really difficult time getting your bearings. And it was easy when you were following the trail because the trail was the trail. But as the snow fell down further and further, that's kind of how you guys got lost.
Okay.
So the result of that is you can't really be sure the direction you're headed in.
Could I insight check the bunny?
Yeah, absolutely. What are you just trying to see if he's shady or anything else?
Yeah, do I pick up on anything like he's trying to hide, or does he give like a weird smirk that makes me think he's trying to lead us into a trap so he can eat us?
Sure. Give me an insight check, sure. Wow, okay. He definitely has he seems to have secrets, but you don't get any feeling of malice, or you don't think he's leading you to danger, but I'm sure he has secrets.
I will I'll keep the info to myself. I'll follow as best as I can. I assume this rabbit's much better equipped to travel on the snow than I am.
As he moves across the snow, he waits for you guys to catch up, and you notice that as he's moving, he's barely leaving any footprints at all, and he's very quickly able to move across the surface of the snow.
Can I do a nature to see if he's a real bunny?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, he could be a dragon.
Yeah, he looks like a real bunny.
All right.
He is. I could say you see the signs that he could be an incredibly advanced illusion, in that when he moves, he does leave prints in the snow. They're very light, but he has a lot of other characteristics of being a real bunny, and not just a piece of snow that's shaped like a bunny.
Okay.
As long as we're not just imagining it, I think I'll be fine with following this bunny.
It's possible you're all characters in some kind of game, but for now, he looks like a real bunny. And after a while, he leads you guys further into the mountains, basically, and he comes across an entrance to a large cave, and without hesitation, he just takes off inside the cave, leaving all four of you outside on your own.
This is a dark cave.
It is dark. Let's see, Laja, you see some light ahead. I think all of you have dark vision to some degree.
I do not.
I don't think I do.
I think, Rorgar, you're the only one that wouldn't see this, but the rest of you do see some sort of light coming from the cave.
No, I think I don't have dark vision.
Okay, so Guardian, you see nothing.
I'll light a torch.
I can create a light if you'd rather.
I'll save my torch.
I will tap his shield and create light on the shield.
Ah, thank you, friend. Much better.
Laja, as you create that light off of your shield, you notice that it's not as bright as it usually is. It's almost as if the air around it is stealing some of the light, and it's more of a dull gleam.
Well, even if this won't give us that much light, I did see something a little bit further in. We should take it slowly, however.
Rorgar will proceed.
Virion will follow Rorgard and the bunny into the cave. No problems here.
This is pretty typical.
Oh no.
As you guys enter the cave, there's not much to the cave system at all. Pretty much as you walk in, you walk a short distance and the cave opens up, and there's a large campfire in the middle of the cave. And as you enter, a voice echoes towards you. It's common, but it's marked with like a slobbery rasp. Muskie found you in time. Good fortune. The voice is coming from a 10-foot long walrus who is kind of resting in the shadows, but the walrus pulls itself up and moves closer into the light. And there are several walrus calves at the side of this large walrus, and it starts to wriggle its way towards you, but it actually sends a tusk out, and it sends back one of the smaller walruses that was moving with it. And other creatures move out of the shadows to examine you. There's a menagerie here that includes a variety of animals, everything from like snow foxes to wolf pups to types of birds to reptiles. And a few of them are conversing with each other as they eye you. And the walrus says, excuse my children, they're suspicious by nature. Their lives depend on it. My children call me Mother Tusk, and you may as well. Please make yourself warm by the fire.
I will take her up on the invitation and go right up to the fire.
Guardian is getting down on his knees and his hands, and he's playing with any of the creatures that get near him.
I push a bunch of walrus pups out of the way to take a wide berth for myself in front of the fire.
And as Tess said, it's actually very warm in here. There are creatures of all kinds, so small like rabbits and squirrels and things of that nature, in addition to larger things like walruses. And in the back, you might see a small bear even, but it's hiding in the shadows.
You have a lovely home.
Mother Tusk says, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for taking us in. I wouldn't have wanted to get stuck in that storm overnight.
Of course, the weather has become more inhospitable as time has progressed. A terrible curse has befallen us here in the north. Survival was never easy to begin with, but now it's become even more difficult.
A curse. Did who put this curse on you?
We do not know that, but there are some that say even the god Oriel has cursed the north. Just stories, really.
Hmm.
And she
Can
looks
I
at you.
roll animal handling to see if I'm playing with the animals?
Sure.
No.
I think as you move in and you start to approach the animals, they scurry away, and most of them give you a wide berth.
Oh, I just sit down and stay very still.
Did
Tusk,
this same
oh, go ahead.
curse create you?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I'm just not used to. Rogar's not used to seeing talking animals.
Aren't you yourself a talking animal?
If you said that to someone from my homeland, that would get you killed. But I grew up among many people, so I don't take it as an insult.
And she laughs. It's a strange, deep laugh from inside her throat, and her whiskers kind of tremble as her nose quivers with a laugh, and she says, I mean, aren't we all animals of a sort?
Guardian just looks up, shakes his head slowly.
And to you she says,
I'm
except
not
for
a
you.
scientist.
You may stay here, of course, and wait out the storm. However, Muskie has told me that you need passage to the 10 towns.
Yes, we're trying to get to Bryn Shander. If you happen to know a way that we can bypass this storm and maybe a cave system, or your rabbits can help us, or we can lay down a series of your children as a red carpet sort of thing, or not. I'm just spitballing.
But Tusk kind of turns her head to the side as you talk about that, and she looks to Muskie, and the two exchange glances for a while. And finally, Tusk says, Muskie does know a way to one of the 10 towns, not the one that you mentioned. However, for him to guide you will have a cost. I lead my family from one shelter to another in this area, wherever food and safety are most available. However, our northernmost shelter has been off limits because of terrible sounds that scare my children too much. It's terrifying. But it's time we go back. We cannot stay in one place for too long. Can you explore the deeper caverns and see if we're safe? Ollie, and she turns to a white owl who's just been kind of sitting around on one of the rocks. Ollie can lead you there.
I think before anyone even has a chance to respond, Rorgar stands up, pulls out his axe, and in a bold gesture says, To defeat evil is my main purpose on this earth. I will find this evil that has prevented you from going north, and I will destroy it. And then he'll notice that no one else has given it this amount of seriousness, and he'll kind of sit back down.
It's the least we can do to repay your hospitality.
Thank you. The way may be dangerous, but you seem very capable.
Should we leave now, or do we need to wait for this storm to pass?
And Ollie the owl actually takes flight. Like she launches herself off of the rock that she's on, and she flies over, and she actually lands on your shoulder, Guardian. And as she's flying, a lot of the rodents, like the mice and the squirrels, scatter from her as she's flying over them. And as she lands on your Guardian, she says, "Oh, please. Like I'd stoop to consuming any of you mangy vermin. Yes, if we go now, we could defeat this. We could leave the storm behind us, and then you could carry on once you're done."
I slowly reach up with a finger to try and pet her.
And she ignores you until your hand gets close, and then she does that owl thing where she rotates her head, like close to 180 degrees to where your finger is, and she's watching your finger.
Guardian will just tilt his head and just attempt to slowly and gently pat her.
And as your finger gets closer, she flies away and probably goes over to another rock.
Guardian looks down sad.
Rorgar will get up. I am here to prove myself as a worthwhile servant of Bahamut and Torm. Let us go on this journey.
And Ollie says, "I once knew a Bahamut."
Oh,
He was a sheep.
oh.
That's a joke.
Jokes are something I have struggled to truly understand. I will get there one day.
And she does the owl thing where she kind of moves her head in a strange circle, and she looks to Mother Tusk. This is gonna be a challenge. All right, well, let's get going. We have a long way to go.
I will stand up and get ready to go.
Yep, we'll all grab our stuff and follow her on her way.
We're using this scene here. As you guys are making your way through the snow, you really have no idea which direction you're going, by the way, if this is on the trail anymore, if you're headed toward 10 Towns or anywhere at all. But Ollie seems to know where she's going at least. She flies for a while, and then she circles back to you guys. She doesn't get too far ahead, but she's leading you in a general direction. It looks like she's leading you further into the mountains, which does track because they mentioned a cave.
So how far away is this cave gonna be?
And Ollie looks back. Oh, just a few more miles. Shouldn't take, well, if you're walking, yes, it might take you a little while longer, yes. Are you tired?
I think we're pretty good. Does anyone want to get this party moving up to a trot?
Guardian stays silent.
I think as long as we get to shelter, get to the cave before the storm hits, we should be fine at going at a normal pace.
And there's a montage as you guys move further and further into the mountains. And at one point, Ollie lands on your shoulder, Laja, as you're walking. She probably perches on your shield, and she's just sort of taking a break from flying. She's directing you guys all moving, and she turns her head to you, does the whole owl head tilt thing, and she says, "Knock, knock."
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
And I thought I was the owl.
They're gonna give a little laugh at that. That was quite the joke.
She seems happy with herself that you played along.
How much further do you think we have left to go?
Oh, we're almost there, I would imagine. And as she says it, as you look up, Laja, you notice 2 bodies in front of a cave entrance.
Ooh.
Now there's 2.
Twins.
Ask if they were stacked. What kind of bodies do they look like? Are they people standing? Are they people laying down?
So they're 2 forms. They're lying in a pool of blood that looks like it's sort of dried, so it's not fresh. It's stained the snow red. Both men are dead, very obviously. Their arms are missing, and their furs are shredded. And as you approach, Ollie looks at them and she says, "Well, that seemed to go poorly for them."
Ollie, did you know these individuals?
I didn't.
Ollie, do you know anything in this area that has a penchant for the wings of the man? Like human chicken wings sort of thing? Because that's kind of looks like what happened here without the arms.
I don't know. Well, it's too bad we didn't get here sooner. It looks like they could have used a hand.
Ooh. I will give Ollie a noogie as a joke well done.
Was that another joke? I seems a bit tasteless. Two poor souls have lost their lives. I'll move closer to them, about here, and I will use divine sense to see if there's any hollow spell, or if there's any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet.
You don't get a feeling that there's any undead within 60 feet.
Okay.
And Ollie says, "It could have been many things. There are all sorts of creatures in the wild here."
I want to see if I can hear anything maybe further in the cave. Since aren't we near the entrance?
You are near the entrance, yeah. You don't, from the outside, I'm going off your passive perception, you don't hear anything. But it is strange. This area, much like the area where the avalanche was, is very, very quiet.
Is there any evidence, like a blood trail, that suggests where these men came from?
Why don't you give me an investigation check? Because it sounds like you're investigating them. You don't really have a clue what happened to them or where they came from. Yeah, there's some bodies here.
Rogar's just staring at them.
The arms, are they ripped off or are they hacked off with a blade?
They look like they're torn off. It's not a clean separation.
Okay. I want to use animal handling to figure out what type of animal could have done this, specifically just going for the limbs.
Sure. Give me an animal handling check. Very, very likely an owlbear.
I'll roll over the bodies a couple of times and then look back to the group. And for the first time in a few days, Guardian finally speaks. Owlbear.
Owl bears are real. My parents used to tell me stories of owl bears to make me scare me.
They are real.
No matter.
What?
Bahamut will lead me to victory. But you could tell there's a little tinge of fear on the Rogar's voice.
Perhaps we should go really cautiously into this cave.
I'll agree with that. Maybe we might even be able to get the jump on it.
And as you start to head towards the entrance, Ollie looks around and she says, "Well, guys, have fun. I'm out of here. I'm not going in there. That's terrifying."
Goodbye, little princess.
Thank you for leading us here. We're gonna head into the
I
cave.
guess. Yeah.
So bear with me. I've got lighting here, so I might have done it wrong. I might have to fix it for you guys. Yeah, I think I have to turn it on for all of your tokens, so one moment. All right, hopefully everyone can see at this point.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. Should be a little cave, not total black screen.
Yep, it's working for me.
So immediately in your surroundings, you can see that it's a series of small caves. There are signs of habitation. It's like fairly recently. There's small bones, some mollusk shells, animal waste, rotting vegetation, and lots of tracks.
Can I do survival, nature, or animal handling to see how fresh these tracks are?
Why don't you give me a perception?
Yeah, that works too.
It's hard for you to tell. There's a lot in the area. Yeah.
I just point and nod.
I think Rogar will just take a few steps into the cave a little bit, like this way, and just scan, just see if he can see anything.
And Rorgar, you do notice that it looks like the prints at this point they look at least a little heavier. And it looks like they're headed in a direction that stops. Like they kind of stop here at the wall. It's hard to tell how fresh they are, but you've noticed that this particular set seems to terminate at the wall.
I'll point that out to my esteemed friends here. I see some tracks here. They seem to stop at the wall. I'll get closer to it
I'll follow.
Gurdian, as you approach the part that Rorgar is looking at, you notice it looks like an inscription on the wall. It's very faint because it's covered in a layer of ice, but it looks like words of some kind.
Do I recognize the words by chance?
You do not. I look at your languages. You do not.
I'll put my hands on the words and just try and clear off the ice to try and get a better look at it.
And effortlessly, you do manage to clear off the ice, and the words are very clear. And
Are they in Draconic?
oops, I clicked on your languages, Laja. They are not Draconic.
Okay.
I walk up a little bit closer to see if I can make out any of these words.
Give me a perception, please.
Damn
They're
it.
words.
All right.
You're pretty sure they're not
Just
Elvish.
shake.
Do these tracks look like they go into the wall?
It looks like they stop right at the wall. Yeah, like they might have continued through the wall.
I will push my axe into the wall.
Your axe meets solid stone.
Okay, I probably look like an idiot then.
Lasha, why
Oh,
don't you
that
give
was so cool how he did that.
Lasha, why don't you give me a perception check?
Are they shapes or are they words?
They're words, and you recognize. So you don't know this language. It is very close to Dwarven. It is Orcish.
I'm gonna try to sound out the letters, maybe if I can even if I don't understand the words, maybe I can read something aloud. Try to at least.
You recognize. You recognize two of the words. The second word is dead, and the last word is not. It's a 4-phrase statement.
So either this means something very good or very bad. I think this is in Orcish, but I can't read it. Does anybody know how to read this?
Rorgar shakes his head. No, I'll move to another part of the cave and just look over here in this direction.
Yeah, I was about to say I wanted to check the opposite side to just see if maybe there are any paths going forward that we hadn't seen yet.
And Laja, as you make your way over to the right portion of the cave, you notice still even more footprints, but it's hard to tell if this is like a person or an animal or anything. But your eye traces up into the cave, and you notice a bundle of, it looks like a small mound of snow, but as you get closer and closer, you notice it looks like a package or a bag of some sort.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I'll wave over to the others to come over to where I am. I'm just in case there is anybody waiting around. I'm not going to say anything.
I'll move over and what is that?
I have no idea. But I didn't think I wanted to be the one who goes first.
Should I should I poke it?
Yeah, you can do that. Just be a little bit careful about it.
As they're discussing this, Guardian's is going to walk in.
And Guardian, as you walk in, you kick up the snow around you. I imagine you're probably like shambling your way in. There's probably not much grace to it, but you kick up the snow around you and you kick the snow off of this mound, and you see it's in fact a bag, and inside this bag is not it's not doing so well in the elements. It was probably a very cheap, very thin leather bag that as it got cold, it cracked, and it is not wearing very well. But you notice the bag through a hole. It looks like there's like a small book inside of it.
I just look it over and then bring it back. I imagine when I walk, I sound like Ed 209 from the original RoboCop. Just a heavy footfalls all the time.
It's a good image.
What is the stealth you speak of?
Guardian, do you notice anything about the book, a title, anything written inside?
When asked that, he'll just finally look at the book completely. Is there anything written on it?
Oh, there's plenty written in it, but it's a language or languages that you do not understand.
He just shrugs, sound of metal scraping, and heavy wood twisting as he shrugs. But I'll hand the book off to anyone who wants to take it. I'll just hold it out.
Sure, I'll take it and I'll take a look at it.
Well, Aja, very easily you notice that on the cover is an inscription, and it's describing what the book is. It's a phrase book, and it looks like it's translating Dwarven to Orcish and back and forth. It's like common phrases, or it's sort of like one of those books that you'd get if you were trying to learn a language and you wanted to know, like, an order or something at a restaurant. It's like a phrase book of common words from Dwarvish to Orcish.
I think this is exactly what we need, actually. And I'm gonna
Bahamut has
take the
smiled
book
upon us.
and go over to the inscription and see if I can find something better than, where's the restroom in there.
Very easily you manage to decipher the phrase that's the inscription on the wall, and the phrase is "the dead pass not."
Good news. I have figured out what this says, and I will relay that it says the dead pass not. And but what do you think this could mean?
And as you say the word "the dead pass not," a part of the wall slides back and reveals further that extends further down into the mountain. Like the cave wall opens and you can continue on.
You have solved the puzzle. Excellent work, friend.
It was lucky that we found this book.
Funny how that works out.
Funny. You just had to click our language proficiencies to find out that we needed a book that specifically translated this. I'm holding on to the book, though. It's in my inventory now. You can't stop me.
If you want to continue down the passage, I'll have to move your token, but just let me know if that's something you want to do.
Yes,
By the way, is that
I'm
book
gonna
yellow?
continue down the path.
Is the book yellow?
Yeah.
Sure, it can be yellow.
Has like a guy with glasses on the cover. Says for dummies.
For
And
funsies,
I just thought it was a very hokey sort of travel guide.
the sophisticated dwarf's guide to luxury orcish food, actually. So it's not only a phrase book, but mostly like a cookbook telling you how to translate using dwarf ingredients to make orcish dishes. There you go.
Didn't know they used the dead pass not in curry, but here we are.
It's a special kind of toast or something.
Can't wait to taste it.
It's actually how they want to ask pasta gravy.
Moving you guys in a little bit. So, Elijah, I'm going to assume that you were leading the charge because you're the one
Yeah.
that opened the door. As you walked just a few steps, maybe 10 feet down the corridor, you trip over a sack, it looks like. And as you trip over the sack, a bunch of stuff spills out of it. The sack is like the size of a small backpack.
Is there anything of note there?
Yeah, a bit. It looks like it looked like the bag contained some odd trinkets, like carved stone, like little small tablets. There's 3 of them. They look like they're kind of slate, maybe a type of jade, and they have some copper decorations on them.
And do we hear anything? Like, is anybody home in the cave?
From where you're standing now, you don't hear anything else.
How dark is it?
It's very dark. I can't remember. I think you're the only one, Rogar, who doesn't have dark vision. So the only light that you're seeing currently is the light from Faj's shield. It looks like down off in the distance, you can see, like maybe this part of the cave, there's some more light.
I'll move towards that light
Okay.
to about here. To here, so I don't see that.
To there? Okay.
I'll keep going, but I don't know what you want me to see.
As you're continuing on, you see that as the footprints that originally led you to that wall back in the other part of the cave continue on in this direction. And that passage, which you originally came in, split left and right, and you went down the right side. As you continue on, you're following the dim light. It opens, the passageway you're in opens into a larger chamber. As you get further down, you hear a soft whimper, and it's followed by a yelp of pain and some hysterical screaming.
If that sounds like someone in need, Rorgar will charge forward.
Yeah, definitely it's a person in pain.
I will go.
Okay, where are you going?
Into the room. Maybe here.
Okay, go ahead. And as you enter the passage, which you see there's several lit torches spaced throughout this partially worked cavern. There's 3 stone pillars carved to resemble orcs in battle. They're holding up the ceiling. And all around the chamber, there's niches carved into the walls. The ice-filled niches hold the upright bodies of orcs, and they look like they're encased in ice. Opposite the wall where you entered, that's here, you see a man. He's obviously a human male. He's lying on the floor. He tries to get away. He's scrambling away from the wall. But as he does, a hand, like a dismembered hand, reaches up and it grabs his ankle. The hand pokes out of one of the niches. Its arm is free of the ice. And then as you enter, 3 of the niches shatter, and orcs held in each stagger out. And the man on the floor shrieks in terror. He says, "The stone plates!" He screams at you. "I removed them. They were wards." He points to another in the center of the room. That's the last one. The others I've already taken. Put them back in the rightful places. The hand grasping his leg gives a gruesome twist. You hear a pop, and then the man faints from pain. And I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative for me, please. Sorry, bear with me. I'm trying to get my orcs rolled here. That's 16, 13, and 3. think we need initiative from Rorgar, and we need initiative. Oh, we've already got initiative from Virion. I see. Oh, okay. Just didn't put you
Yeah,
guys on
they
there.
both
Okay,
rolled, just didn't click on their tokens.
cool. I will add you guys. Let's see.
Oh, I see what happened there.
Roll 20 is just persnickety.
Very much.
All right, so I believe that leaves the first action here to Laja. So Laja, you haven't seen anything inside the chamber yet. You heard this call, and then you saw, of course, Rorgar off to the side, but you haven't actually seen anything in this room yet.
That's fine, because what I was planning on doing is, since I hear something going on, I'm just going to cast Bless, and I'm going to do it on the 3 other party members.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
so I'm going to move up a little bit, but I'm going to stay still a little bit further back. Just right there. And that'll be the extent of my turn.
So what does it look like when you bless? You just say a few words and that's it? Or does something magical happen?
Probably they're going to say a couple words, and then a soft light will just surround the people who are blessed. Just a little bit, not enough to be mechanical, but a little bit of flavor.
Very good. And I think that moves us next to Gurdian.
Okay. It's been a while since I played 5e, so each square is 5 feet, right?
Yeah, it is.
All right. I'm gonna grab them all off my back, and I am going to, for flavor-wise, the soft blue lights and glowing eyes that Guardian has, they quickly change into a blood red as he walks around his corner. I'm entering rage.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna go pop this zombie in the head if I can.
Sure.
Whatever this is. Let's see. It's clicking on this. Yes.
22.
Nice.
That is definitely a hit. For
8
8
bludgeoning.
damage.
Let me see if I can find. Yeah, that works. There you go. I'm in rage.
So you wind back your axe, is it? And you hit him?
It's a maul, so imagine he winds back and he just cracks him against not only the maul but against the wall as well.
So it says as your maul strikes the head of this zombie, the head twists to the sides like very sharply, and then he kind of shambles to the side a little bit, and he goes, "Ugh," and his head sort of careens to the side. As obviously you've broken some of the connective tissue that was holding his head on, but it doesn't seem to really affect him that much. And he turns towards you, and it starts like reaching his arms out.
Perfect.
Oh, and coincidentally, it is his turn, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to attack at you, Guardian.
Bring it.
And he reaches forward like with his arms, and he swipes at you. 16, I think that hits, right?
That does hit.
That's 2 bludgeoning.
I take 1.
Gotta love that rage.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stay in place. He kind of likes what's going on here. And then moving on to this zombie. Let me see what their movement is. 20.
What are your rules on moving diagonally? Just
I'd follow the same distance that you get from roll 20. So if roll 20 says at like 25 feet diagonally, that's what I would count.
Okay.
To basically just treat it as like a normal 5-foot movement. The zombie shambles. It looks like he's shambling towards you, Gurdian and Rorgar. But that moves us on to Virion.
All right, I'm going to move to here, and I am going to take out my longbow and attack the one that Gurdian had previously attacked.
Okay, so I think it's this guy. And that's a very good shot. That is enough to strike him.
Perfect. And oh no, how do I roll damage? Oh wait, I just click it. That's right.
So you shoot forth, it goes like between right past Guardian, hits the zombie directly in the chest. It's a good solid hit, but again, he still continues to be driven by that unholy force that has risen him from the dead anyway, but he is still shambling at Guardian. But that moves us on to Rorgar.
Rorgar will take a step forward to here, and he will swing. He'll bring his large battle axe straight down on that zombie that's already been hit a few times.
Sounds good.
Or not.
That unfortunately is a miss.
You're still blessed.
Oh yes, I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
Is it a plus one?
Try your best.
It's a +1 with blessed, right?
It's a D4.
A
1d4.
right? Yeah, that is actually enough.
10.
Zombies have an AC of 8, so that is a hit.
See, it comes in handy.
Wow, at minimum damage as well. But it's damage.
You're a little thrown off.
Another hit to the zombie, who then turns his mostly broken off head towards you, Rorgar, and he goes, "Urgh." I'd say one of his arms fall off from all the damage, but he's still moving. Which moves us on to this zombie. He shambles off in this direction. And moving our second round here, back to you, Laja.
And we were all able to hear what he was saying earlier, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go up to not the one that has the zombies next to it, but the further one, and because that's just within 25 feet. And I want to put one of the tablets that we found over here onto there and see if it does anything.
As you look at the tablets, you have 3 of them. One looks like it has a stylized eye symbol. The second looks like a cave. And the third one looks like a sword dripping something. Maybe blood, could be something else. And as you get closer to the niche, the altar thing that this guy was talking about, you don't see any visuals, but you see more writing. There's lots of writing. You can tell it's Orcish all over them. This one in particular has, writing on it near the top, near an indentation, which looks like a tablet would go there. But, yeah.
I'm just gonna guess and put one in and see if that does anything.
As you put one, actually, let's do a random roll here. Let's see what happens.
Sure. What would you like me to roll for that?
Roll me a d3. That's awesome. As you put it in, it looks as though when you actually put it into the niche, there's a grinding sound, and the room seems to get a little bit cooler. But the tablet is locked in place.
Success.
Okay, great. That's I'm away from everybody else, so I'm just gonna plan to go off and bring the other ones on my next turn, but that's probably about all I can do. Well, I can let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can take one more step. There we go. 5. And that'll be it.
All right, moving back to Gurdian.
I'm gonna strike at that zombie again.
What did that zombie ever do to you?
He ceased to not cross over, so
That'll do it. That'll do. Actually, is that a crit? Was that a 20? That is a
that's
20.
crit.
Yeah.
Okay, first crit of the
Oh.
game. Good job.
So I imagine that he just winds back, much like a baseball player, and but with a maul, and he just hits him into that side of the stone, makes him a permanent fixture of that rock face.
You still have to roll damage, but based on the number of hit points he has, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Yeah, so your blow crushes the remaining pieces of the zombie, and he collapses into a pile of goo. But as he does, you hear one last "Urgh."
I give no acknowledgement to the dead.
He's just reduced to a pile of gory, undead orc mess in the corner. So unless
I
you want
look at the other one.
to, you could still move if you'd like. Otherwise,
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, sorry, I'm used to 4E where if you attack, you can't move then. So yeah, I'm gonna gonna walk past my dragonborn buddy and get right up in this guy's face.
and the next turn would have gone to the zombie, but he is dead. So instead, we're gonna go to his friend. So I think upon seeing you walk right up to him, Gurdian, he's gonna take a swing at you. I imagine 7 doesn't work out for him.
Nope, he pets my chest.
And I think that's all he's gonna do. Moving back to you, Virion.
I'm gonna load up another arrow and try and go for a headshot against the one that's up near Gurdian there.
I can't remember. Is it disadvantage because you have 2 people engaged with him?
I don't think so.
Okay. That is a hit.
All right. 9 damage.
Man, longbows are great.
Very helpful.
Virion, you take a shot, you strike this zombie right between the eyes, and his head kind of goes back a bit, and he looks around and shakes it off, and he goes, "Urgh." But unless you wanted to move Virion, I think we go on to Rogar.
I might get into place over here by Laja, and I'll say to her, if you want to give me one of the tablets to put into one of the pedestals, we can split up and make this go a little bit quicker if you want.
Sounds like a good idea. I will pass one over.
Which one do you want to pass over? I'd say that the one that you put in before. Let's see, the one that you put in before was the one that was the sword dripping with blood. So you have with you have one that has it's like a decorated cave and one that's an eye.
I will hand over the eye.
All right.
So I believe that moves us to you, Rogar.
Does the man up here, is he dead or Is he knocked out or is he dying?
You'd have to get a little closer and investigate that. He's not moving.
Huh. I will move to here, and I will take a look and see if I can ascertain his status.
He is very wounded. In the D&D system turns, he's probably making death saves at this point.
Okay. I will touch him with a finger and give him 1 hit point. I will use lay on hands as my action.
Well, did you actually lay on hands if you just touched him with a finger?
It is an action.
No, I was just trying to be funny about the finger, not actually the hand. Sorry.
I'm
It didn't
trying
work.
to. It's 1 finger because it's 1 point.
Oh, okay. I got it.
The amount of fingers determines the amount of healing I give. So
right,
he'll have
okay.
1 hit point, and then I'll use the rest of my movement to get to here.
Okay. And as you do that, the guy shakes his head a bit. He kind of sits up, and he says, "Oh, you have to put the tablets back in place. It's essential. Otherwise, they'll be free."
I will. I just acknowledge with a shake of the head, but turn my attention to the zombie.
And this zombie, the one that it's his turn, he continues to move off into the darkness.
Uh-oh.
But that's back to you, Laja. Actually, this is the top of the turn. And what happens now is you hear off to the side a cracking sound.
From which direction?
This direction, and you see one of the orc corpses that's embedded in the ice that's frozen over starts to move, and he reaches a hand out and another hand out, and he starts like trying to break his way through the ice, and he eventually succeeds, and he steps forward from the frozen shelf of the wall. And he's just gonna I'll be fair and let me roll his initiative again. Didn't change much, but anyway, it's back to you, Laja.
Okay, I'm going to go over to the next closest place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Presumably, I'll just be sneaking in next to Gerdian. I'm gonna try putting the tablet there and see if that works.
Which tablet?
I have the one that's not the eye.
Oh, that's right. You have the one that's the cave.
Yeah.
As you go to put that down into the slot, it actually does not fit, and I need you to make a charisma saving throw for me, please.
Oof.
Very good. You feel a bit of a pressure in your mind, but that's about it. But it doesn't actually fit in the slot.
I think this is the one that you need to bring that over to.
All right, I'll make my way over there when I get the chance for sure.
I don't know what else I can do where I am right here, so that will be the end of my turn.
Okay, back to you, Gerdian.
Oh, I was muted, sorry. I'm gonna pop this zombie. 13.
Do you get an advantage because I flanked him?
Oh, yeah. I
Sure.
do.
Yeah, go ahead. You might get a crit, but you've already hit with a 13. Let's see if you get a crit.
Okay, so I'll take the 13. 7 bludgeoning.
As you hit him soundly in the chest, and it looks like perhaps some of his ribs are collapsed and his chest looks a little sunken in, but he turns to you with a "Urgh," but he's still mobile.
Wait, are these zombies Tim Allen?
Possibly. Their token does have a hat, which I thought was really funny, which is why I picked it.
Very stylish.
So anything else for you, Gurdon? Or Gurdian?
Nope, that's it.
So the new zombie, he shuffles his way over to you, Rorgar, and takes a swing at you. Imagine a 19 probably hits.
Oh, it just barely hits. Okay, that's half my hit points.
Fuck.
That's why I want to get you guys out of level 1 quickly. So we move back to this zombie, and I think he's going to take a swing at Gurdian. 21.
Oh my god.
2 damage. He does 2 damage to me. That is not half my health.
And we move on to you, Virion.
First I'm going to take my longbow out and shoot the zombie that's in between Gurdian and Rorgar. Rorgar. Or try to.
That will
that'll
definitely
do
hit.
it. Ooh, very nice. 10 damage.
Okay. What I need to do here is roll a Constitution save for him.
Oh yeah, zombies. That's right.
Not enough. That shot again, maybe Robin Hood style. You plant the arrow right on the other side of his, right next to the other arrow that's sticking out of his head, and he looks to the side at you, Guardian, and goes, "Urgh," and collapses dead again. What do you call something twice dead?
Re-dead.
Re-dead? Double dead?
And to finish off my turn, I'm going to run over to where Laja is and try and put my tablet into the altar here.
I'll let you maybe like use a reaction to drop a tablet in place if you'd like.
Oh, sure.
Give me a charisma saving throw, please.
Ah, shit.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, as you drop your tablet in place, you notice it also does not fit in the slot, but you take 2 psychic damage.
Okay, but bless also works on saving throws, so don't forget your bless, please.
Yes, please.
Oh,
Yeah, we haven't been rolling it at all.
Nobody's been rolling their bless.
let me
Take
Thank
my
you.
blessing.
I will not. I think I won't remember. Oh, and that's exactly what you needed. You need a saving of 10,
Beautiful.
a save of 10, so you take no damage, but you also feel that pressure
What
in
a
the back of your
blessing.
mind.
Oh, jeez.
But you notice too that your tablet does not fit.
Well, this complicates things.
I believe we move on to
It's
Rorgar.
probably the one on the floor.
Oh, right.
Yeah, by process of elimination. I was gonna pick that up and just try it here, but now that we know that does not work, I think I'll just attack the zombie that's in front of me. Or can I pick up that tablet where I am?
Yeah, you can do that.
I'll pick it up. I will use my action to do that, I assume. And I'll take the attack of opportunity and move over to here and attempt. Can I place it from here, or do I have to be on top of it like them?
You have enough move though to move next to it.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that. I'll take the attack of opportunity, and I will attempt to place the tablet.
Okay. Probably not a hit, right? 10.
Rorgar roars, "Back away, foul beast!"
And the zombie goes "Roar," as he swipes at you and just swings at air. Maybe like as you pick up the tablet, he starts to swing where you were, and you're not even there anymore.
Perfect.
But Rorgar, as you drop the tablet in, it does actually go exactly in place as if they were made for each other, and the room gets a little bit warmer. I'm sorry, the room gets a little cooler. I said
Yeah,
warm.
I was gonna
not,
say,
not
oh,
warm.
what have I done?
It gets cooler.
Rorgar, he says to himself and hopes no one hears that. Actually, I have a few points of movement left.
Oh, sure. Sure, go ahead.
I moved 1. I will I'll step to here to kind of block the zombie.
Okay.
Keep his attention on me.
Okay. And the next turn is the zombie who's off in the darkness. I don't think any of you guys can see. And he does something. Which again, no one can see.
Oh no.
And we move back to Lasha.
I'm gonna take the tablet and go up here, and I'm actually going to ask the man which one goes here.
And he looks and he says, "You've got to they're labeled. The altars actually say which tablet goes where. Which do you have?"
I have both of them.
Oh.
I have the cave and the eye. I came from right there. Presumably I would have grabbed it because it wouldn't have stayed in there if the other one was put in there.
He says, yes, that one goes here. This one," and he points to the cave, and he points to the one on the far wall. He goes, that one needs the eye.
I'll put the cave one in there.
And as you put the cave one in, the room also drastically gets colder.
And I still have a little bit of movement left, so I will go behind the zombie, and we will see how that goes for me. That'll end
It's
my
just
turn.
a zombie. Don't worry about it.
You know what? Do we want us to not get heals? I have one spell slot left that I'm saving for heals.
The zombie does have exactly the amount of damage to kill me, so.
Exactly.
But we move on to Gurdian.
Stomp, 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 stomp. Hammer maul overhead, come and bring it down, hopefully. Oh, wait, I have that blessing, right?
Yeah, that is a hit though. Their AC is only 8.
Okay, cool.
Jeez.
And 5. I don't know if anyone's played Doom, but there's a animation where you basically bonk a zombie character on the head and you shove his head into his torso a bit. That's what I imagine happens to him as he's like, "Oh, what the?"
And the thing about the zombies is they're very easy to hit, but they're very difficult to kill. So this one you do strike him like very hard, but he's still moving. He looks over at you with a "Arr, arr." And I think that moves on to his turn. He is going to swipe back at you, Guardian. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do a random roll here, a D3. And let's see. Lasha will be 1, Guardian 2, and Rorgar will be 3. Oh, sorry, Lasha. He's going to take a swing at you.
That's fine.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
and max damage.
Ooh.
That hurt.
Perhaps he was paying attention to those two, but as he looked at the dwarf carrying the shiny shield, as you tried to move past him, he turns around and swings at you viciously, the whole time going, "I will hurt her." But back to you, Varian.
Okay. I think I have just enough movement to make it to the other altar here. I'm counting it incorrectly. Is that close enough to pop that bad
Oh,
boy
I
into
have
place?
it.
I think Laja has it.
Oh,
I think she took
no.
it.
I do have it.
Yes.
You
All right.
You
then
can see what the other zombie's doing.
I mean, next turn,
I
Laja
don't
could
think I
set you
can
up and
from
throw it to
here.
you or something.
I think from here I'll just I'll point my longbow at the zombie that everyone's surrounded and see if I can't help out in that way a little bit.
That is a good hit. Also, don't forget, guys, you have inspiration, so you can give yourself or someone else advantage.
All right.
That's a good
7
hit.
damage.
You strike him with another vicious arrow shot, but again, these zombies, he's still moving around, he's still swinging at Laja. I think we move on to you, Vorgar.
I will Oh, I really should just attack. Yeah, I'll just swing. I'll use the Law's just giving me a flanking opportunity, so I'll just swing down on the foul beast in front of me.
Okay. And that is a hit.
And I'll roll again just to see if I get a critical. Same thing. All right. Let's see. Oh, not bad.
You did 9 damage there.
Yes.
So your axe swing cuts off a good portion of the zombie's torso, but he's still moving around. As he looks at you, he looks down at his arm that you cut off, and he goes, "Urgh." But he's still moving.
The other will be following soon.
Urgh. Moving on to the zombie that we haven't seen. We do see now as he has worked his way around you guys. And he's shambling, and as he shambles around the corner, he looks down at the remains of his friend, the first one that you killed, and he goes, "Urgh." Back to you, Laja.
I'm gonna disengage from the one that's here and go over. I have just enough movement to get right next to Virian. Would I be able to hand off the last tablet?
Yeah, you can do that.
Great, then I will hand off the last tablet.
And up to you, Guardian.
Maul smash. Guardian smash. Oof.
That is a miss, but I think you have Bless still, right?
I do.
Yes.
And that's a D4?
Yep.
Oh, wait, you rolled a 1. I think a 1 is always a miss.
That is fair.
Yeah, I think 20 is a critical always hit, and I think a 1 is always a miss.
I think in combat, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That's so sad.
But you can do this. You do have inspiration. Give yourself advantage, and you can roll another dice.
It's a zombie. I'm saving that inspiration for something else.
Okay.
Like petting the cute little owl.
Sounds fair. So as we move to the zombie, let's see. I think he's going to take a swing at you, Vorgar. 13.
Ha! I laugh at your attempt, pitiful creature.
So as he's off balance, just having one arm, he swings around and misses you wildly, Wargar. But it's over to you, Virion. You've just been handed the tablet by Laja.
I dramatically take it out of Laja's hands and I whisper to it, "This is going to solve all of our problems," and I put it into the pedestal.
And it doesn't fit. No, I'm kidding. It does fit. And what
Jeez.
happens is the temperature drastically drops even further, and you see the zombies that are in the room, the two of them, they slow down even more, further and further, and their skin gets paled, and they both collapse into just a pile of dust. But the ice on the wall, the other orcs, it looks like in some places the ice had been cracking, but the cracks solidify, and it looks as almost the orcs are pushed back further into the ice as the ice thickens more and more. With that ends the combat.
I'll move over to this gentleman over here and offer him my hand, pull him up to his feet, and say, Bahamut has blessed you this day.
Indeed. Thank you. I am. My name is Marvel.
And what were you doing here, Marvel?
I'm an archaeologist. Unfortunately, my comrades and I discovered this cave, and we went to examine it. And I collected the tablets, thinking they were an archaeological find, and unfortunately, that's what freed the orcs.
Can I make an insight check to see if he's telling the truth?
Sure. He's telling the truth, but he's obviously not being completely honest.
Does he have any of the tools that an archaeologist would have?
I'd say, yeah, you did pass the insight roll. So he looks more like a grave robber instead of an archaeologist. He probably, if he's an archaeologist, he's giving himself a lot of credit. He probably came here trying to see some loot that he could grab. And the tablets, they're, like I said, they were covered in jade and some gold carvings. He probably thought, I'm going to take these things and sell them. I don't think he actually had any intentions of putting them in a museum or anything like that.
Okay. I will kind of shove him into the wall and Marvel, I hope this is your last time playing archaeologist.
He looks around and he says, I'm sorry. Here, you can take, this is the other thing that I found. And he reaches into his pocket. And when he hands you, it looks like a shiny sphere that's made out of like a brown, glistening material almost, but he hands it to you.
And where did you steal this from?
I found it in the chamber as well.
I will look at it with no idea of what this could be and take it to I think who would I would guess Laja might have some idea, but I don't think any of us are particularly skilled in like Arcana.
I'll take a look at it.
Elijah, you've seen this before. This is called an Ursat's eye. Basically, if you look through it, this particular eye is an orcish eye. It's shaped and colored to look like the eye of an orc. But basically, if you hold it up to your eye and you look through it, you can read orcish.
Oh.
You can't speak it, of course, but you could read, text.
That's definitely a very interesting find. This is magical. I mean,
I
it's
believe
definitely something useful.
I believe you would find more use to it than I would.
Well, thank you. And
I will
tuck
give
it
you a pat on the
into my
shoulder.
bag.
I'll give you a pat on the shoulder, and as I do, I'll close my eyes and say a small prayer to Torrent and give you 4 points of healing.
Thank you. I really took a hit there back in that fight. Do you need anything?
I believe I will continue to press on. I shall be fine. And then as Rorgar turns away to continue looking at the chamber, you see like a giant like claw mark on his back.
He's missing some horns.
Oh, you poor thing. I'll take your word at it though.
I don't know why doesn't my health show up? The only person's health I actually see is Laja's.
I need to fix your token. That's what I need to do.
Okay.
It's because I'm the only one who uploaded anything ahead of time.
That's true.
Hey.
She did the homework.
Mine was all done. I just don't know how to use Roll20.
I'll fix everybody's token for next time.
Yeah, so I'll essentially just keep an eye on our archaeologist friend just to make sure he doesn't attempt to make off with one of the tablets again.
I think unless you guys try to stop him, Marvel makes a move to just leave the cave entirely and make his way off into, the frozen north, basically. Unless you want
I'll
to try to
follow
restrain
him
him.
out.
Okay.
No, I follow him out to the edge of the cave, but as soon as I see you leave, I'll let him go.
And he doesn't even stop at the two corpses outside of the cave as he moves on. He probably knew them. They were probably part of his band, but he doesn't seem to be concerned about them as he runs off. He looks and runs away from the storm, but he goes off into the wilderness to do something else, perhaps. But as you guys exit the cave, Ollie flies down from a tree, perhaps, and she lands on your shoulder, Guardian. And she says, "Wow, you guys smell terrible. Well, I mean, worse than you did."
I attempt to pet her again.
I think your cave is safe now, at least.
Good. We need to move on. Mother Tusk will be very happy that we could all move to this location. So, Guardian, give me an animal handling. Yeah.
Yee. I will use my inspiration to reroll that if it's not enough.
You need at least a 15, I'll say.
Oh, hey, it's a
You're
check,
blessed.
right?
You're
I'm
blessed.
blessed. Yeah, let's see if the blessed does anything first.
Just enough.
Amazing.
As you go to pet her, she's looking up at your finger, and she looks, and you move slowly down towards her head, and as you touch her head, she just kind of freezes there like a statue, and you are slowly able to pet her.
Guardian is just doing the very delicate, slow head scratch.
And after a moment, she says, "Well, onward to Tin Towns, I suppose."
Owl friend, were you aware of the inscription on the wall?
No, I'm an owl. I can't read.
I wouldn't make that assumption.
Guardian laughs at that.
Did you know who you're talking to?
Who indeed?
And she laughs. Haha, of course.
What? I don't. It's fine. I don't need to understand.
She spreads her wings and takes off you, Guardian, and she heads towards the east. And you notice she's flying away from the storm, which is moving quickly in from the west.
I wave at her as she leaves.
Well, she's leading you, like where she wants you to go.
It doesn't stop him from waving.
Before we go, can I check the corpses here to see if there's anything identifiable on them?
Yeah, you can. Let me check my notes to see if there was anything that was interesting. There are some coins. They have 10 gold on them between the two of them. There was cold weather gear, but of course, with the sleeves ripped off, it's not very useful. And they each have a short sword.
I'll leave the swords. I assume they're probably not even very good. I will. I'll give everyone else. I'll hand the gold off to everyone else and say, I don't believe these gentlemen will be making use of this anytime soon.
I'm gonna go to the bodies, and it's gonna be gruesome to look at, but I'm gonna splay them open and then let them just move them away from the cave entrance so other animals have a chance to eat.
Okay,
Yeah, they're dead.
true.
It's a fun word to say, splay.
And I assume at this point you guys are going to follow Ollie as she's leading you on.
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah.
definitely.
And where we're going to stop tonight as Ollie leads you guys out of the mountains and into Icewind Dale proper. She's flying off into the distance, and all we can see as far as the eye goes is just a long stretching field of white snow.